Tim Carroll from At the Races and Sky Sports Racing. Tim, great to see you here as always, and it's another exciting race meeting coming up for Champions Day. They're a little bit different with the weather, perhaps.
Yeah, it's funny. Thanks, Nick. Great to be here, as it always is. But you're right. It's difficult to sort of know what to expect on Sunday with this rain. But the one thing I do know, this track here at Shah Tin drains very well, so hopefully it'll still be good in the description come Sunday, which will make it a little bit easier for doing the form.
It certainly will, absolutely. Of course, very alien to have such sort of testing conditions. As for the meeting overall, I mean, I'll open the floor to. Who are you looking forward to most? I mean, there are some obvious ones, but...
Oh, well, we all want to watch Golden 60 go round. He's the best miler in the world. I'm a little bit worried about the ground for him if the rain continues. You only got to go back a couple of years ago when he hit a yielding track and he was a well-beaten third. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. I think there's a couple of Europeans, to buy honour and Brave Meteor. The connections will be revelling, having seen the rain we've seen this morning, because obviously they're going to enjoy it if there's a bit of a give underfoot. But California Spangle, he seems to have been completely reborn as a sprinter, you know, coming back having won the Alquoz in Dubai. He's going to be another highlight. And then we've got the Japanese horses, although I think a few of these would prefer to see the good old traditional quick round at Shah Tin.
Yeah, I think they certainly would for sure, but obviously, especially going to play the hand you're dealt, I guess. Talking of some of the local horses, now there's been a bit of build-up this year, and rightly so, about 4-year-olds taking on the older horses. It would seem, Tim, like there is, you know, very shortly, I suppose, going to be a changing of the guard. I mean, Golden 60 is not getting any younger. Romantic Warrior obviously still probably in the peak of his powers, but there are horses taking either of those guys on by the name of Galaxy Patch and also Massive Sovereign, both of whom look to really have the world at their feet.
They certainly do. I'm a big fan of Galaxy Patch. He's had an incredible campaign, you might say. If you had asked me a few months ago, I thought he was going to be the next big sprinter and maybe miler down the track a little bit in Hong Kong, but then he came out and he ran such a wonderful race in the Derby, and of course you got the Derby winner, which is next Aidan O'Brien horse. And I was talking to a few people back home, and a few of us are a little bit surprised Aidan actually sold that one, because I remember when he won his last race in Ireland, he looked brilliant. He came from a long way back. He had that big finishing burst, which we've seen here, and because he goes on top of the ground, I thought he might end up being sort of one of their world-travelling horses that they take to America and Australia and Hong Kong. So, look, it's great to see, and as we know, the Golden 60 is getting older. California Spangle, a few of the others won't be around forever, but as per usual in Hong Kong, you always do see the young horses coming through, and there's always going to be something there to replace the old boys, and I think in those two, and a few others as well, things are looking good.
You're a man who keeps your finger on the pulse when it comes to Hong Kong racing, Tim, and I guess the beauty of this place is that it just continues to evolve, as you say. These horses continue to roll on through, like, you know, the likes of Broadhurst as he was back then, being sold to come here and going on to win derbies. New horses coming in who emerged, the likes of Romantic Warrior. I mean, we mustn't forget he started his career down at Happy Valley of all places, and now he's one of the world's best.
Yeah, and one of the things I do love about Hong Kong is they don't duck and dive. I know it's a different system to Europe and Australia, where you got the commercial considerations, whereas here most of them are geldings, but they all meet each other. So you've always got a big field, and you've got the best coming up against the best on a regular basis. Whereas back home, they tend to sort of avoid each other, and then they'll get together here and there. But if you look at it from a racing perspective, as far as a perfect example, you might say, of what you want to see, Hong Kong is absolutely it. I remember this year we had horses going around in mile races, and then one ends up over in the Alquoz and the other one ends up going around in the Derby. You're not going to see that in Europe.
No, you certainly don't. I'd love to stay and chat for a bit longer, but we're running out of time. So just finally, give me Tim's treble. Who are the three big Group 1 winners?
Look, I think it's a little bit tricky with this rain about. I hate to say it. If it continues to rain, I'm a little bit worried about Golden 60. The European horse does interest me, Brave Meteor. If you have a look at the form around Brave Meteor, 5 starts on wet tracks, never defeated on a wet track. He's won 15 back home. That's not as good as Golden 60, but I think this rain's probably going to bring them a little bit closer. Dubai Honour, another European I'd mention as well, he's going to love this wet track. I'd probably be against the sprinter. The European sprinters tend to struggle over here, and I know that Believing she's won on wet tracks, but George did say before she came over that she was better on top of the ground. Mind you, she'll probably get ground, it'll be all right. But Look, I'm probably going to have a little bit on Brave Meteor in the mile at this stage. Although I do want to see the draw as well. That's coming up shortly. Dubai, I think will run well. I think Prognosis. I thought he was very unlucky in this race last year. When I say unlucky, he was well beaten by Romantic Warrior. Let's be honest, but he came from a long way back off a fairly sedate pace. So. I'm probably not going to, I'm just going to keep the gunpowder dry a little bit until I see the draw, but there are a couple that would interest me.
Yeah, brilliant, Tib. Well, listen, that's probably a safe bet. Many thanks for chatting to us, and enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy Sunday.
Thanks very much, Nick.